I begin, I want to thank Westminster Christian, my family, all my friends, choir, Troop 4977, everybody, for letting me speak on the behalf of the Fine Arts Department for the class of 2017. I want to thank the Fine Arts Department for letting me and so many other students find themselves through art, music, and theater. With each student that comes into a fine arts class, you have been able to unlock their gifts, encourage them in whatever way possible to use their gifts, and at the same time, take them closer to the Lord through the arts. So, what do you want to be when you grow up? I remember being asked that question as a kid, a lot. It's a question that asked me what I wanted in my future. It asked what I was into, whether it be caring for animals, playing music, or building sandcastles in the sandbox. To me, this question is the most revealing of a person, and that's why I ask it so often to others, not only to younger children, but also my colleagues. But I always change one word, and instead of asking, what do you want to be when you grow up, I ask, who? Who do you want to be when you grow up? That is the most important question I ask myself, whether I am making a decision on what I eat, where I live, what I study, because I have to make choices based on what my goal is, based on who I want to be. And my answer to this question involves 3 aspirations. If there's anything you want to take from this speech, I want it to be these 3 things. Be faithful, be purposeful, and be yourself. The first aspiration is to be faithful, to be full of faith. In our home, I learned that if I do good things, God will reward me. And from time to time He did, and from time to time He didn't. Regardless, God was always there in my life. But I never felt such a closer connection until Warrior Week of 2015. When I began singing along to the worship music in that small wooden center, I don't know how, but I started crying. I was choking up on my words, and all I could do was sing my heart out and raise my hands to the Lord, because right then and there, I surrendered my soul to Him. He has always looked out for me through every trial and tribulation. He has cared for me since birth, and He has loved me and thought of me before I was even a thought to anybody. And I thank Him for that every day, and for my faith, not only in my prayers, but in my worship. I'm thankful for the Fine Arts Department for constantly reminding me that any performance or any piece we create, we do it in the name of the Lord, who graciously has given us gifts and talents to honor Him and His greatness. The second aspiration is to be purposeful, to be full of purpose. In the book Start With Why, Simon Sinek writes about how people introduce themselves. They will usually tell you what they do, maybe even how they do it. But few rarely say why they do it. From asking why, that is where people find their passion, or to be more specific, their purpose. I found my purpose in music, and I do so because I believe music is simply storytelling. Each song, with or without words, tells a story. And as a performer, it is my responsibility to keep those stories alive with each performance. Yet I wanted to take that a step further, and I began writing my own songs. I remember writing my first song, 100 Miles Away. It was about a girl, your typical the one that got away kind of story. But when I started writing that song, it wasn't because I wanted to just write a song. It was because I wanted to share something that I couldn't express with just words. Have you ever felt that? When you feel something you can't exactly explain in a couple of sentences? The only way I was able to express myself was through music, and specifically my songwriting. When you ask yourself, who do you want to be? You have to find your why, your reason to become what you want to be. Your why can be a place, a person, an idea, a song, a painting, anything. And once you find it, then you will find purpose. And my third aspiration is to be yourself, you. That's why the question is not, are we happy with who we might become, but the question is, are we happy with the version of ourselves that we are right now? Are we being the best version of ourselves? Each of us are a work in progress, always changing. But we will have a core in ourselves that can never change, It makes us who we are. So who are you right now? Throughout high school, I was always thinking about who I wanted to be. And there were all these different Enriques that I could be and I wanted to be. Over the past 9 years while I was doing dinner theater, I was discovering a part of myself every year. But 2 weeks ago, I performed my last one, my very last show. Besides all the preparation and silly pranks, thoughts were racing through my mind. During the show, it finally hit me. I was never going to do dinner theater ever again. And every set I performed left me more and more shaken up by the thought that that was the last time I was going to sing those songs. By the last time the last set was about to start, I could barely contain myself. The lights, the music, the singing, I wanted it all to last forever. I kept thinking each and every note I was going to sing was going to be my last. But that didn't stop me, and I put on my best performance. I poured my heart into every note, every motion, every song. And when we sang our last lyrics in the finale, everything came to me. All these thoughts came to my head, and well, I began tearing up. But I fought through. I carried on and fought back all the tears all the way to the end. And in the end, when we raised our arms, holding our last note, that was when I felt it. The feeling when you want that exact moment to last forever. Instead, when the curtains closed, I felt it was all over. But it wasn't. And it isn't. And in fact, it's probably quite the opposite. The moment forever will be a part of who I am. That version of myself lives on in that experience. In closing, I leave you with a quote from Doctor Who, one of my favorite television series growing up in the UK before I came to this amazing country, in which the character says, "We all change when you think about it. We're all different people, all through our lives, and that's okay. That's good. You've got to keep moving, so long as you remember all the people that you used to be." Thank you.